Hi everyone, and wow, here we are again. It's another Tuesday. That came around pretty quick. Now it's been a really busy week. A few things to talk about here. Firstly, the Littlemen gig at the Comedia in Bath was amazing. We had about 150 people come out for the album launch, and the band played great. Really happy with the band's performance. So the album Visions is available now on all the usual streaming platforms, so go check it out. We've sort of moved away from the country, sort of Americana vibe. That wasn't my bag. As I say, Nick asked me to produce it, so it's a very different sound. So playing with loops and more analog synths and theremins and, all sorts of mellotrons and all sorts of things, really changes the sound up. So psychedelic 80s, 70s, 60s vibes all mishmashed together and thrown out as the Littlemen sound. So if you came down to the gig, thank you. You know what I'm saying? You came and you enjoyed it. If you didn't, never mind, because we had James, the band James playing at the Forum, doing some sort of anniversary tour, I think. And also, I think is it Andy Bell was playing at Moles. So we were up against a few different things. But anyway, we still had a good crowd and it was a good night. So thank you for that. So that was a success. That was brilliant. Secondly, thank you to everyone who's contacted me after I posted the Cedric Sharpe video on Friday. Now, if you don't know, Cedric Sharpe was the drummer with the original sort of famous Gary Numan band, which was from like 1979 to about 1982, but he stayed with him all the way through till about 91, 92, when Gary maybe wasn't quite as popular as he was in that first, 3 or 4 year period, where he was absolutely massive. I think I forget how massive he was. And that all came from basically, the Cedric Sharpe video came from watching Living Ornaments interviews, which is Stephen Roper, who's a really lovely guy. He's written to me a few times now and reached out afterwards. I tagged him in the video because he was the inspiration for that. He's done these sort of Gary Numan ex-band member interviews, and I just stumbled across it while I was doing some work one day. I was doing maybe some lesson plans or something, whatever I was doing, and it's some emails and stuff. And I was listening to these interviews in the background, and it was great. And then I found the one he did with Cedric Sharpe a few years before he died. And I was like, my God, Cedric, yeah, I remember those days of playing along to the records and everything. So I just thought I'd come in here on that Friday and do a little tribute kind of thing of what it meant to me. And it's just gone kind of crazy. Usually on the night a video comes out, I'm not a big rock star, or even a big drum star. So I don't expect, triple figures in the first couple of hours. But it was up to 100 really quickly. And it was like, wow. And it just proves the power of someone's fan base. But the Numanoid spread things really quickly, it seems. And I've had 3 or 4 comments on it, and I've had some people sending me emails from it. Obviously, Stephen's got back in touch, and then there's a lovely guy I've met called Pendleton over in the States who's doing some work with some tracks, and Chris Payne has been working with him and all that, and it's great. And he's reached out. And also the band, the Liquid Engineers, who are a British band, they go around and do loads of gigs. And they're brilliant. And actually, even before he contacted me, I checked them out because I'm friends with them on Facebook, or I'd like their page or something. So I had checked them already. And Dave is a lovely guy. He sent me a really long email. And he too was influenced by Cedric and had a similar story to me. He was just a few years older. And he actually owns that Tama drum kit, which they still gig. They take it out and they gig it. So the fact Dave's got Cedric's drum kit and is still looking after it and still playing it, but also admiring it, he can actually say, that's the one that I saw when I was 11 years old, watching him on Top of the Pops or something. And just last night, I had 2 or 3 more over the last couple of days, but they're comments on YouTube, which I need to get back to. So thanks for sharing, guys, and keep sharing it. And I'm making some great contacts and all through the love of Gary Numan. Amazing. I said to my girlfriend, it's amazing that I just thought that clip may have no interest to anyone at all, maybe just very few people. But the fact is, it's actually gone out to lots and lots of people, and people are really digging it and liking it. So Joe Mountain's a good friend of mine, guitarist, singer, songwriter. He messaged and said, I've bought 2 tickets to the Royal Festival Hall to see Brian Eno and the Baltic Sea Orchestra Philharmonic. Do you want to go and see it? And I was like, yes, I do want to go and see it. And then lo and behold, back into touring. He went off doing what he was doing. And then here we are. It was last night and it's done. It seemed like it was never going to get here, and it's just been and gone. And I've got to say, it was brilliant. They were doing an adaptation of Ships, which was a Brian Eno album that I wasn't aware of, so I need to check that out. It was all, they weren't sat down, they were stood up, it was fully interactive, but it wasn't too kind of musical jazz hands, it was tastefully done. And he was moving around being part of the music, and it was all immersive. It was really really good. And the lighting was spectacular, but not over the top. It wasn't like Coldplay stage show. Again, it's more tasteful, and everything that was there at the right time in the right way, and I guess that's subjective, but for me, it was perfect. And they saved some of the lighting effects for the right moments. They didn't sort of peak too soon with all of that sort of stuff. And it was just phenomenal. It was like 45 minutes. And then that was the first piece for Ships. And then they went off for the usual encore. They came back on and did just various famous tunes and some new tunes from Brian Eno's catalogue. And hearing some of that stuff, not just done on piano and synth or whatever, but with vibraphones and marimbas and everything, was just wonderful. And you know what it's like, even if it's a 4-piece rock band down the local pub, you can't beat live music. It's just brilliant. And we both came out of there just walking back across the bridge to the tube station. It was just immense. It just makes you feel so alive. So that was that. So that was a cool thing. And finally, the terrible news yesterday when I was traveling down that Aaron Spears had passed away. I'm not sure what the reason was or what's happened, but I remember him on that Modern Drummer performance, and he was playing along to some tunes, and I just remember seeing it, and I was just like, wow. It wasn't just the power, it was the evenness of the strokes, it was the inventiveness, it was the cheeky way that he played as well, because I know he had a great sense of humour. I've seen some clips of him being interviewed, and he was a very funny, lovely, loving man. When he plays those sort of offbeat things and stuff, on those remote X-hats and stuff with the various effect symbols, it's just like, whoa, and he goes over the bar and he comes back in. It's just cheeky, and it's the same as his grin, and I can't say that I met him, and I can't, say that I've got volumes of his work here or anything. I haven't, but I was aware through that one video clip. I'm one of those people that if I see one thing, that's the thing that I remember them for. And I remember seeing that, and the hairs on the back of my neck went up. It was a bit like, whoa, this is some drum god. This is something different. Obviously, I've been into Billy Cobham and Michael B., Prince's drummer from the sort of new power generation. He was into that in the early days. He did a lot of that sort of offbeat, closed hi-hat stuff and linear phrasing and stuff. And then, along came Aaron Spears, who just took it to a different, a whole nother world. Took it out a whole new door, as Jack Nicholson says, as the Joker in the 1989 Batman film. And it was just powerful, it was funky, it was committed, it was passionate. And what more can you say about a drummer, really? That's all the things that you need, with good time and just mean what you say, and you say what you mean. And that's what he did on a drum set. So the drumming world is coming together today to, wish his family all the best at this difficult time. Very, very difficult time for anybody. So, the drummer's going to have to grieve in their own way and leave his family to that. But we thank you, Aaron, for your work. And I know you'll rest in peace. And so big love, man. Okay. So thanks for watching, and have a great Tuesday. I'm off to play this gig, as I say, in Swindon. If you're around, come down to Royal Oak. I'm playing there tonight from about 8:30 or 9 o'clock. Watch me try and remember how to play jazz. All right, take care, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.